plus 3 is a t square minus 4t plus 3 is a quadratic equation, right? And we need to find the value of alpha 4 beta cube and alpha cube beta 4. So the quadratic equation is given to you is a function of t, right? It's a function of t. The variable is t, and all this function in the form of variable t. And the quadratic equation is t square minus 4t plus 3. That is t square minus 4t plus 3 is the quadratic equation is given to you. Now we need to prove it. What? That alpha 4 beta cube plus alpha cube beta 4, the value of this is what? That we need to calculate, right? So here the question is very clear. Okay, we need to find the value of this. So students, just use the standard form of quadratic equation, that is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, right? Where for this standard form, if alpha and beta are the roots of this quadratic equation, right? If alpha and beta are the roots of the given quadratic standard form of quadratic equation, then if these are the roots, then the sum of the roots is given by minus b by a, and the product of the roots is given by c by a. So these are the two values which we are knowing, right? Now we will use the same in evaluation of the above question, right? We will use the same. So this is the main thing which you need to understand and remember, right? Now just put up this value t square minus 4t plus 3. So for t square minus 4t plus 3, when you just compare this quadratic equation with the standard form of the quadratic equation, what you will get? Here nothing is there, so it's 1. So the value of, just compare it with ax square plus bx plus c. So here if nothing is there, we can say the value of a is 1, right? And just compare here, it's minus 4. So from here you can see the value of b is minus 4, and if you compare from here, the value of c is 3. So these are the three values which we identified upon comparing with the standard form of the quadratic equation, which is into the form of ax square plus bx plus c. Now since a equal to 1, b equal to minus 4, c equal to 3, then for the standard form, if alpha beta are the roots and sum of the roots is minus b by a, and alpha into beta, the product of the roots is c by a, then for the given quadratic equation t square minus 4t plus 3, the sum of the roots alpha plus beta, right, will be equal to how much? It's equal to minus b by a. Just remember this, minus b by a, that means minus times b. The value of b we have calculated as minus 4. So minus times minus 4 divided by a, the value of a is 1. So this will be coming as 4. So we have identified the value of alpha plus beta for our equation, for our quadratic equation, as 4. Similarly, the product of the roots is given, just use this formula, alpha into beta equal to c by a. Just you need to remember this one, right? C by a. So what is the value of c which we have identified? Is 3, right? So 3 by c by a. So what is the value of a? A is 1. So 3 by 1. So the product of the root, that is alpha into beta, is identified as 3. So just you need to use these values to calculate alpha 4 beta cube and alpha cube beta 4. So we need to find alpha 4 beta cube plus alpha cube beta 4. This value we need to find, right? Now here you can see alpha is coming 3 times over here, and even beta is coming 3 times, and here also alpha and beta is coming 3 times each. So what we can do, alpha cube and beta cube can be taken as common, right? And we are left with alpha from this, because 3 from alpha is already taken out and only one alpha will be left over, right? So alpha plus, and beta cube is already taken, and from alpha cube beta 4, if alpha cube beta cube is taken as common, we are left with beta, right? Now the alpha cube beta cube can be written as alpha into beta whole cube into alpha plus beta. Now we have almost solved our question, because you know alpha into beta is the product of the roots. So use this value and put it, that is we have already calculated. So it will be coming as 3 times whole cube, because alpha beta whole cube and alpha beta is 3 we have derived, plus, sorry, into alpha plus beta. What is the value of alpha plus beta? You can take it from here, 4. So just use it over here, right? So into 4. So this will be coming at 3 into 3 into 3, that is 27 into 4. So which will be coming at 108. So 108 is the value which have been calculated for alpha 4 beta cube plus alpha cube beta 4. So that is equal to 108. This is our answer. Hope you like it. For any query you can just put up into the comment box. I will respond to you. Right? Thank you so much for watching. Now this was the first question of quadratic equation, okay, which I have shown to you. Now we'll be coming to the second question. Any query into solving the steps or into any of the steps which I have explained over here? Let me know. In any of these steps, if any query, you can just put up into the comment box. So quickly we are going to the second question. So this was our question number 1 from the 2 questions of quadratic equation from the 2 question series, right? Now coming quickly to the second quadratic equation, right? The second quadratic equation which we have taken as f of x function of x, right? Whatever the quadratic equation, this is in function of x, and it's given that x square minus px plus q. This is the quadratic equation which is given to you, and we need to prove alpha square by beta square. That means alpha square by beta square plus beta square by alpha square is equal to P4 by Q square minus 4P square by Q plus 2. So this is the requirement. This we need to prove. This to be proved. This need to be proved. Now just use the same whatever we have used for the first question. For the first question, this is the basic thing which we need to remember, which I have just encircled in the rectangle, right? Ax square plus bx plus c is as the standard form. Then alpha and beta are the roots. Then sum of the roots is minus b by a and product is c by a, right? We will use the same as used into the first question. So this is the second question for us today. This is the second question of the quadratic equation. So here just the quadratic equation which is given to you is x square minus px plus q, isn't it, right? And if you just compare it with the standard form of the quadratic equation, what will be coming? You can see, if nothing is there, it's 1. Coefficient of x square is 1, right? If nothing is there, then coefficient of x square is 1. Then from here on comparison, you can see the value of a is 1, right? The value of a is derived as 1. And on comparison from here, you can see the value of b is derived as minus p. So b as minus p, right? And from here the value of c is calculated as q. You are just comparing it with the standard form of the quadratic equation. This is our equation, x square minus px plus q, okay, and this is standard form. Now here the value of a, b and c is calculated. That is, a is equal to 1, b equal to minus p and c equal to q, right? And if alpha beta are the roots of the given equation is given, x square minus px plus q is the quadratic equation, and alpha beta are the roots of not only this standard form of the quadratic equation, but for our equation also these are the roots, right? So what we can do, the sum of the roots, just find it out, the values. It's minus b by a, that is minus b by a. What is the value of minus b? B is minus p, so minus times minus p by 1, this will be coming as p, right? So the value of alpha plus beta is calculated as this one, p, right? This is calculated. Now the product of the roots alpha into beta is c by a. So what is the value of c? The value of c is q, which we have already on comparison we have identified the value of q, c as q. So c by a will be equal to q divided by a. A is 1, so we will not write 1 into the denominator. So the product of the root is also identified as q, right? So these two values are with us, this sum of the roots and product of the roots. Now from here just take the LHS. From here just take the LHS of the equation which need to be proved. The LHS is given as alpha square by beta square plus beta square by alpha square, right? Now this need to be proved to equal to this much of value, right? Now what we will do, use this equation after and take the LCM. The LCM will be equal to alpha square beta square, and into the numerator we will be having alpha 4 plus beta 4. Why? Because alpha square multiplied with alpha square and beta square multiplied with beta square. So into the numerator we have this much. Now this can be written as alpha square whole square plus beta square whole square, this much, and just add 2 alpha square beta square and subtract the same, because that is not present into your numerator, these two terms, right? One is 2 alpha square beta square, and again subtract 2 alpha square beta square, so the effective will be alpha 4 beta 4 only, this much, right? Now divided by 8 alpha square beta square, that means alpha beta whole square. This will give you to the next step. What's that? That is alpha, you can see a square plus b square plus 2ab. This is into the standard form of the quadratic equation, a standard form of a formula, a square plus b square plus 2ab. So we can write alpha square plus, for the first three terms we can write alpha square plus beta square whole square minus 2 alpha beta whole square, because alpha square and beta square is written in a single bracket, alpha beta whole square, right? And into the denominator we have alpha beta whole square, right? This will give you alpha square plus beta square whole square. That means this will give you, again using the same formula, alpha whole square plus beta whole square minus, or add to alpha beta and subtract to alpha beta, so that only alpha square plus beta square will be remaining, which is into your first bracket, you can see. And just add and subtract to alpha beta as we did above into into two steps back, right? And here the square will be as it is, which is present over here, right, minus 2 times alpha beta whole square, right? This is as it is, this is alpha into beta, so we are very easy to put the value of alpha into beta, which we have already derived over here, alpha plus beta and alpha into beta. Now this will be the divided by alpha beta whole square, okay? That means alpha beta whole square. Now the next step will be this, you can see also compare a square plus b square plus 2ab. This is also on the standard form. So we can write alpha plus beta whole square minus 2 alpha beta whole square minus 2 alpha beta whole square divided by alpha by beta whole square, right? Now just put up the values over here. Now just put up the values. No need to worry. Just put up the value. Okay? On putting up the value, just a minute. Just I'm using this extra page so that we will need it. Right? Now, the value of alpha plus beta we have already calculated p. Right? So we can write it as p square. In place of alpha beta you write p, it will be p square minus 2 times alpha beta. That means alpha into beta is q. Just put up the value of this alpha beta as q, right? Whole square minus 2 alpha beta whole square, that is alpha beta is q, product of the roots, so it will be 2q square. 2 is outside the bracket, mind it, this is not inside the bracket, okay? Divided by this all is divided by what? Alpha beta whole square. That means what is the value of alpha beta? It's q. Put up the value over here. So it will be in place of alpha beta it will be q. So q square will be coming into the denominator, right? Going to the next step, just expand it, okay? A minus b whole square, isn't it? A minus b whole square. Then what is the value of a minus b whole square? A square plus b square minus 2ab, right? A square plus b square minus 2ab, right? So okay, so it will be coming as p4 plus 4q square, right, minus 2ab. That means 2 times p square it's p4 plus 4q square minus 2ab. That means minus 2 into 2 will be 4. So minus 4 times p square into q, right? Minus 2q square divided by q square, right? Now this will give you P4 plus 4qa square. So here you can see 4qa square and minus 2qa square, right? This will be 2qa square. So this will be equal to 2q square, the second term, right? And the first term will be 4 p4 by q square, p4 by q square, right? p4 divided by q square. We have almost arrived at our RHS. You can see p4 by q square. This is the first term. The second term is 2q square. Sorry, 4q square minus 2 square, 2q square divided by q square. So when q square will be cancelled, then these two will remain. So we have arrived to the third term. Here you can see the first term is matched, the third term is matched, and only left is this one, minus 4p square q by q square. So we can write it as minus 4 p square q by q square. One q will be cancelled, so it will be coming as p square divided by q, which is equal to our RHS, right? This is our RHS. This is our RHS. And in this way, we have proved our requirement, that is LHS equal to RHS. This is proved over here, you can see, right? And this was the question. So in this way, we have solved both the questions of quadratic equation, and in this way I will be closing today's session, and I hope you liked it. And for any query, you can put up into the comment box. I will get back to you, and I will only say just keep on learning, keep on practicing, do your job. Okay, forget about the results, but put your best efforts. Definitely will get the result one day. Thank you so much for watching. Just like, bye bye.